Are you winning, son?
Meh, I have this calculus project that I have to do.
Well, I don't see you doing any project. You're just playing Rocket League in the PlayStation.
Oh, no, but I am working in my project right now because calculus and video games go together, hand in hand, mano a mano.
They don't. You're just saying that because you're lazy.
Meh, I guess so. I guess calculus and video games really don't have anything to do with each other. Or do they?
Bezos plagiarisms or homages aside, ever since I was a kid, I have always been in love with video games. Those magical and mystery worlds, filled with wonder and new possibilities made of numbers and code, have always excited my imagination and really opened me to the wonders that the human mind can create. I still remember those long afternoons at my older cousin's house, playing with him and his original Xbox. My biggest dream from that time obviously was to have one Xbox of my own, to be able to explore these worlds unrestrained by time and by the smug superiority of my older cousin. By the way, I love you, Andre. To be honest, I don't remember the day or the time at which my wish was finally fulfilled, although I vaguely remember it being something related to Christmas and Santa Claus. The wonderful feelings of childlike wonder that everyone experiences at that age only got stronger when I finally began to play the game that was included with the console. A fairly small and unknown game, a game which the future generations would come to know as Halo 2. Playing Halo 2 was, for me, like being born again. It introduced me to first person shooters, to science fiction, to graphic depictions of violence against alien species, and ultimately to the saga that would turn Microsoft into a video game market behemoth and solidify the Xbox's place among the greats in the pantheon of video game systems. To get to the nitty gritty, it ignited my love, my lifelong addiction to video games. Now, for the important part. How are video games and calculus related? Maybe superficially they aren't, but the development of video games today would not be possible without the contributions of the great minds of times past. Let's talk about physics engines for a bit. Sir Isaac Newton deepened our understanding of the world when he developed his laws concerning movement and gravitation, giving to us what are now called Newtonian physics, and dispelling the Aristotelian notions that had plagued European and Muslim thought for the better part of 2 millennia. Concurrently, Leibniz was developing calculus, and without it, much of our understanding of physics simply wouldn't be possible. Well, Leibniz and both Newton and Leibniz reached to a similar way of conceiving calculus which led to a bitter rivalry. Although Newton also was a very conflicted person and had issues with, for example, Robert Hooke, the creator of Hooke Law and also one of England's greatest minds. Rocket League, the game you see on the screen, is a physics-based game in which the player has to play soccer with a car. The cars have rockets attached to their rears so that they can fly, jump, and do all sorts of spectacular maneuvers. The knowledge given to us by physics and calculus have made this wonderful game possible. Still, as realistic as the game looks, taking into account the fact that the game is about cars flying and scoring goals like Cristiano Ronaldo, ¡ay mi madre el bicho! The developers had to make simplifications as to not make the game impossible to play. For example, they had to tweak how the frame rate of the game impacts how the ball reacts when hit by a car, or having the cars keep a constant mass without taking into account fuel or boost, as it is known in game, consumption, Can I read of a more realistic transmission in favor of a simple acceleration curve? And another one of the things they did it was get rid of longitudinal friction. Regardless, with all these simplifications and video game trickery, they still managed to pull off the illusion of authenticity. This managing of reality and deception is also what keeps drawing me to this game, part of its deceptive charm. Besides, have you ever seen a supersonic acrobatic rocket powered battle car fly? In this video, we see the difference between flips and flicks. In a flick, you want to position the ball on top of your car. As the ball stays longer in contact with the car and its exit point is at the maximum distance from the rotation axis, more force and moments of force are generated, having as a result a stronger shot on net. Besides, the little backwards flip looks sick. In this other clip, I was trying to clear the ball, which was high up. Unfortunately, I was carrying too much speed, and the momentum in the direction of my initial motion carried me away from the ball. As you can see, I tried to correct the course by generating an opposing acceleration with the thrusters of the rocket, but to no avail. We still got scored on. Well, as they say, part of the journey is the end. And unfortunately, the video is ending now. Hope you enjoyed, and hopefully I will get full credit for this video. Bye! Majesty is a pretty nice girl, but she doesn't have a lot to say. Her Majesty is a pretty nice girl, but she changes from day to day. I don't remember how that song goes.